man bathes his paralyzed wife every day, but this day he had just put the water on. Suddenly his foot slipped. The man fainted. His wife panicked, because the faucet was still running, but she was paralyzed and couldn't move. If this goes on, it won't take long. She would be drowned alive. Seeing that the water level has been gradually rising, the woman could only move her right foot, which had only a trace of sensation. She tried to open the bathtub's drain valve. The woman watched the rising water level. Her mouth and nose were about to be drowned. The woman concentrated all her strength on her right foot, but to her surprise, after many attempts, she failed to open the water valve. Instead, she accidentally broke the chain at the top. The woman was completely desperate. She watched as the faucet continued to fill with water, and by this time, the water level had already flooded her mouth and nose. In order to save herself, she hurriedly concentrated her strength on her left hand again, and little by little, she reached the shower head. She tried to control the faucet by moving the position of the shower head, but it was still too slow. Before she could move the shower head far enough, the water level had completely submerged her head. At that critical moment, she suddenly gave a strong push. Although she twisted the faucet switch, slowed down the speed of the water, but the water level is still rising, so she's still not out of danger. The woman quickly relaxed her body, and let her feet float. Then she slammed open the drain valve at the bottom. The water level began to fall. After discharging part of the water, the woman's head finally came out of the water. Relying on her strong desire to survive, the woman finally regained her life. At this time she was surprised to find the scare she had just had. She was paralyzed for 10 years, but her whole body regained consciousness. She put her hands on the edge of the bathtub. She wanted to check her husband's condition. Her husband, who had just fallen on the floor, suddenly disappeared. She was in a state of despair. Her husband was not unconscious, but why did he watch himself almost drown? She tried to climb out of the bathtub. She fell to the floor. She tried to call the police. Just as she picked up the phone, she saw a strange black shadow through the door. In order to prevent her husband from succeeding, Laura took a piece of glass from the broken mirror and reflected it to see what her husband was up to. But then she realized what she saw was the curtain swaying in the wind. But she walked out slowly. She was afraid that her husband would suddenly appear.